Hey everybody, how are you doing? So tonight we're gonna make homemade mac and cheese. I already have my water sitting right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that boiling so that we can cook our noodles. And as far as the mac and cheese part, we're gonna take some butter. Yummy. We're gonna make a little roux to help everything stick together. So I'm just gonna drop some butter in here. I am going to get it cooking. Now I'll take some flour and toss it in there as well. So we're just gonna put it on low, let it do its thing. The cheese we're using tonight is a Colby Monterey Jack cheese and some mozzarella and some cream cheese, Happy Farms. Once we get it all going, we'll sprinkle in a little smoked paprika because that will help it taste nice and tasty. And there's not much of it left today. We should have recorded it, but my daughter made some apple crisp, and obviously, as you can see, that got devoured because it was delicious. Okay, so the noodles you're gonna cook as you normally would. Butter, we're gonna put in here with some flour. We're gonna make a little roux. And then we're going to put our cheeses in, start melting them, and we do have some, let me get it out, I almost forgot to grab it. I don't know how much we will need. We're going to use some heavy whipping cream once we get the cheese melted to break down and have it not be so heavy and thick with cheese. You know how cheese is when you melt it. So the heavy whipping cream will help make it a little bit more liquidy. Don't know what the proper terminology is for that. Okay, where's the list of whipping cream? Okay. Okay, and some heavy whipping cream. So tonight's is just homemade mac and cheese. I'm also going to grill some salmon and some stuff like that, but that's easy, so I'm not really too worried about that. So we'll just get this going here. Melt the butter. Once the butter is melted, put some flour in, mix that up, and let it get a nice roux. And then we'll toss in all of our cheeses, get them melted down. Literally all three of our cheeses. Cream cheese, Colby Jack, and mozzarella. That's what we'll be using this evening. So hopefully everybody's doing well out there. And things are going well. It seems as if a lot of things are shifting daily, and it's kind of becoming oddly weird in terms of some of the stuff that's going on. And okay. What's up? Is that clean?
Yeah.
Did you wash it with soap? Will you toss that in the washing machine?
I use it for anything else I do.
But, okay. All right, so our butter is melting. Okay. Now we're just gonna sprinkle some flour in there. We're gonna make a nice little roux. That will help everything kind of hold together and stick together. So it's just kind of if you've never made roux before, it's just a paste, but a combination of the flour and the butter are going to help everything stick together. Okay?
Look, Dad. Works.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very, very cool. So you want it to be not too runny. You don't also, if you put too much flour in, it's going to turn into a big ball of dough in there. So there's kind of a fine balance. I think if you want to know what the actual specifics are for a roux, if you've never made one, go ahead and look that up yourself because I don't know what it is. I just go by look and feel and how I'm feeling about it at the moment. Okay, so first, because it's the thickest and it will take the longest to break down, I will put our cream cheese in here and let it start melting. And the only reason is simply because it is the thickest. So we're just gonna let it melt and start getting all goopy and nice in there. The other cheeses are already broken down. In this case, I've bought pre-packaged shredded cheese. This one is some that I had left over. What I've discovered over the course of time with homemade mac and cheese is that if you can use a variety of cheeses, it tastes way better. I mean, it tastes awesome if you use just one cheese, but if you are able to throw in a variety of cheeses, it just adds to all the complexity of those flavors and really kind of brings out a lot of different nuance. What's up?
I need help.
Okay, well, right now is not the time.
Darn it.
Darn it. So. Okay. Cream cheese. And really what you have to do here is just keep stirring it up. If you leave it be and walk off, you're just going to have a bunch of burnt stuff. So like with everything else in cooking, is that you just have to be present, be here, and be cooking, not elsewhere. If you're elsewhere, that's when bad things happen in the kitchen. So we'll melt our cream cheese here. It's kind of running itself down, so we're looking good there. Down just a little bit. We don't want it too hot. We just want it warm enough to melt. We're not looking for sauteed cheese. So this is almost, the cream cheese is almost all broken down. So then we will throw together, we're just going to start tossing in the rest of our cheeses. And we're going to have a cheese party. We could, if we wanted, we could throw it in. Boom, shakalaka. I thought I had some breadcrumbs. I'm sure I do here somewhere. Okay, so initially, your cheese mixture is going to be really, really thick. That's what the heavy whipping cream is for, is to help break down some of that thickness. So cream cheese obviously is going to have a whole different consistency. So let's just pour a little bit in there. Start warming it up because it will help break down that thickness that is such as cheese. This is not the melting pot. We do not want big globs of chunky cheese and all that thickness. This is mac and cheese, and so we want it to be a little bit, we want it to be a little not so thick. Okay, so there's that much, which was not much. Cream cheese is broken down, nicely done. So we're gonna go ahead and throw our mozzarella cheese in here. I'm sorry,
No, I just hot glued it to here and it will stay
Oh, very cool. I like that idea.
Because I could just put the water in the front.
Okay, very cool. I like that. So we just threw some mozzarella cheese in here, and really now all that you're doing is literally melting cheese. Okay?
Melting cheese.
But if you walk away, you're gonna be in
It'll
big
burn.
trouble. It'll burn, maybe burn, maybe burn. Disco Inferno. Okay? And for me personally, I just kind of keep adding the heavy whipping cream to help lighten that up a little bit so that it's not so thick. Okay? We got it going. Because see, now what's going to happen, can you see this, is you're going to start getting kind of pasty. And if you don't have something to lighten up that a little bit, you're just going to have a big glob of cheese sitting in the bottom. And that's not what we want. Okay, so our mozzarella is good. So now we're just going to dump in some of this Colby and Monterey Jack cheese. And we're going to dump this in here. And we're going to start melting in. And I went with about that much. Again, approximation. Okay, so now our noodles, and we've used cavatappi noodles because they're kind of cool. They are the ones that look like this, as opposed to traditional macaroni elbow noodles. So we're gonna dump these in. This box calls for cook for 8 minutes al dente, 9 minutes firm, or 10 minutes tender. So we're going to dump it in, and we're going to go for 8 minutes, because normally what we would do is once this is all done cooking and we mix everything together, is we will throw it into a casserole dish, sprinkle breadcrumbs across the top, and toss it into the oven for, I don't know, 15-20 minutes to get it all nice and cooked and soupy and delectable. Yes?
Should I use the feeder with the lid thingamajig with the holes in it, or
Sure.
the one that hooks to the cage?
One that hooks to the cage.
Okay.
Okay. So we kind of got this all going. At this point, we basically have a big soupy hot mess with a big glob of stuck cheese in the middle. So since that's the case, I'm going to go ahead and add a little more cheese, which is just going to create a bigger glob, but we have our heavy whipping cream. So at this point, you could drop in some salt and pepper, just give it a little bit of flavoring. Again, you know the how much salt your family generally needs. So go ahead and mix that in. Let me get some pepper here. And we'll go ahead and just mix that up and get the rest of this melted. And then we're going to get the cheese to the consistency that we want. I prefer it to be a little bit more soupy, because when you stick it into the stove and when you drop all the pasta in here and mix it all up and then put it into a casserole dish. So I prefer it to be a little more soupy, so of course I'm going to add a little more of the whipping cream to break that down so that it's not such a big cheese gloop. Which on the flip side is absolutely hysterical, because my daughter is not the biggest fan of homemade mac and cheese, which I don't understand. Maybe it's because they're not Kraft macaroni Star Wars shaped figures. I don't know. Okay, so we got our cheese mixture. It's looking pretty good. I want to thin it out just a little bit more. And that's what the heavy whipping cream is going to help you do. It's going to help you thin out that cheese mixture so that it's not too thick. If you just melt a whole bunch of cheese with a roux and you try and drop it into your noodles, you're just going to have a big, huge glop of cheese. You need something to help break down that cheese a little bit. Okay, now keep in mind, we're just on low, so we don't, this is just melting level. You want just enough heat that you're melting cheeses. You're not burning, you're not cooking, you're not sauteing. And now I need to find my where are my things? There's spreads, there's panko. We've got panko.
What's that?
So tonight we might be using panko because it is what it is. There's oats. There's mustard. Mustard. Ooh, mustard. Who wants a mustard? Seasoned breadcrumbs. We got it, baby. Although, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what panko is.
What in the world is panko?
Panko is used for if you're like... Try
What
it.
did you just burp?
Here, try it.
It says breadcrumbs. Yeah. This tastes like breadcrumbs.
It's light and crispy.
It says breadcrumbs.
So if you're
on
like
the front.
cooking like shrimp or mushrooms or you
It
can
says
you
chicken.
rub it in, or chicken, which for all the chicken we eat. Okay, so at this point we're just letting it kind of just sit here warm. I'm going to toss in just a little more of the heavy whipping cream because I want this to break down just a little bit more. For me personally, I still feel like it's a little too thick. So right now, go ahead and get your oven, 350, get it preheated. Tonight is literally a comfort food meal because somebody in the family is not feeling so well. So mac and cheese is literally a comfort food. So we're making mac and cheese tonight as a comfort food. I don't know how, okay, let's just use the rest of that. All right, then it doesn't have to go back into the refrigerator with 2 tablespoons. Okay, so we'll get that broken down nicely. What we're doing right now, as soon as the noodles are done, we're gonna drain them. And then we're going to toss the noodles in here. We're going to get it all mixed up. I'm going to go ahead and toss in my smoked paprika right now. You can use whatever seasoning you want. Smoked paprika is quite the delicious flavor. So I'm going to go ahead and just sprinkle some of that in here. I'm not taking names and I'm not taking measurements. I am just sprinkling it in. So we're going to sprinkle in some smoked paprika. Because it is delicious. And then we're going to get this all stirred up in here. And then when our noodles are done, we're going to dump them in here and we're going to mix it all up. And then we're going to put it into the casserole dish. We're going to sprinkle some breadcrumbs on the top. We're going to toss it in the oven for about 15-20 minutes. Let it get into bubbly goodness. So the mixture that you're going here, for those of you who are wondering, what should the texture be like for which you can see it here. So you're able to mix it. So what we're going for is kind of a little bit looser than a cow pie. I know that that is probably completely horrible and offensive in terms of a word to use or a way to consider the texture of what we're cooking. Okay, so timer. Our noodles are done, so we're going to pull them off. Go ahead and turn your heat off. Take these. We're going to drain these really quick. Okay. So we've got our noodles cooked, drained. Keep in mind we went with al dente. So we went with only 8 minutes because they are going to go into the stove as well. So we're going to dump our noodles in here and then just literally mix this all up so that there is cheese mixture on all of these noodles everywhere. Let's go ahead and turn the heat off now. And then we're going to dump all of this into our casserole dish. I like to get all the goodness that's in here. I personally don't like leaving any of this cheese mixture for the washing cycle. I am burning my hand right now, so be careful. Okay. So we're just going to get all this cheese in here. Okay. So now we've got all of our cheesy goodness in here. This is not going back into anything, so oh, yeah, baby. That tastes delicious. Okay. What we're going to do now, got it in the casserole dish. We're going to take breadcrumbs.
Dad, I got all A's.
Oh, nice. Daughter just got her report card from school and she got all A's. Rockadoo, what a day. Sun is shining bright. Rockadoo, what a day. Okay. And that's what we're going to do. So we're going to top it with some breadcrumbs.
Oh, looks so good. Oh, looks so good.
Okay. Oven will be preheated in a moment. Actually, let's go ahead and we'll just put it in the oven now. We're going to cook that for about, let's say, 20 minutes. So I'll go ahead and set the timer for 20 minutes.
1,300 hours.
Will be good. I will come back and show you guys when it's done, once I get it plated up. Peace. Okay, so 15, 20 minutes later, whatever it's been, which I still want to let you know that the little dude is helping us cook because Spooky asks a question. For those of you who haven't seen Toy Story 4, I love the idea of the character that thinks that it is not worth anything other than jumping in the trash and turns out to be a huge friend to a whole bunch of people. Totally, I literally love that idea. Okay, so let's get this out so you can see what we've got going on. Homemade mac and cheese. What's hysterical is that we have discovered that the South thinks that this is a Southern thing. Sorry, South. You're a part of the rest of the United States, and everything that you like, pretty much everybody else from California to Maine likes as well. All right, we've we've got some bubbly goodness. So here is our homemade mac and cheese. I'm going to be grilling some salmon. Didn't feel like I needed to show all that. That's pretty straightforward. And I think that we've done that on another cooking video in the past. So comfort food for the individuals who are not feeling good in the house right now, who are sick, and some salmon to get all of the delightful nutrients and vitamins and all the good stuff that salmon has on it for them. So we'll be doing mac and cheese and grilled salmon. So, peace. Look at that cool hairdo right there. Coronavirus, not haircut. Loving it. Peace. Have a good day.